10 years ago, a group of 5 gathered to sign a document with a chance to change the trajectory of their neighborhood forever.
It's not a sport.
I'm just an actor.
Every race is perfect.
After his failed military coup on the treehouse, Albut needed another justification for an army. And what better way than by drafting a constitution that justified exactly that. Now, by November of 2012, Albut had reached the 8th grade Constitution unit of his history course, which shifted his obsession from Roman excellency to founding fathers. Albut traded in the might of the sword for the power of the pen, with sights fixed on a new ambition. He got to work immediately, pillaging through rough drafts at breakneck speed. By October's end, he had already broken through Thomas Jefferson's record of crappy documents written in a month. Albut didn't just make a copycat constitution. In addition, he wrote a declaration for Sagewood, a voter's code of conduct, 13 amendments enumerating the citizens' rights, and 13 laws to counteract them for good measure. And finally, a conclusion that outlined what was to be. He confided this vision into 5 co-conspirators: his brother Rickster, his right-hand man and campaign manager, their friend Abel, their friend Gian, and Chris, and their friend Maya, and Osama bin Laden. Okay, not him. The stage was set for a brand new empire. But what was in these documents exactly? And what was it in these documents that prevented them from becoming the law of the land? In the apartments. Now, one point of contention for many is that the girls weren't really involved in the decision-making process for this constitution. Some argued it was sexist, but Albert argued it was integral to stay true to the source material.
This is the original, preserved documentation of the original proposed constitution. Rough drafts. The final drafts were never preserved. They were shoved in a closet, never found again. But the rough draft will help us give a very good picture of what the final draft entailed. And now, without further ado, we will begin examining these documents, looking at the most important aspects of what would have made this government ultimately different from the United States version of the Constitution. Now we're going to skip over the Declaration of Sagewood because it's pretty much a carbon copy of the Declaration of Independence. So we're going to skip over that and we're going to go straight into the meat of the main articles describing what the 3 branches of government in the apartments would have been under this constitution. Now, the first branch of government, the legislative. And the legislative branch is the branch that approves laws. So, as you can see, very close to what we have here in the United States.
That's what's in.
And as we get into the second branch, this is the judicial branch. In it, Albut inscribed that in order to be a judge, you must know all the laws. What laws at the time of this writing? None, but you must know all of them. Now, the judicial system would have pretty much just been Abel judging people on the big hill. So far, you've had the legislative, the judicial, and now interns. Yes, interns would have been the third branch. Now, the interns were basically free labor, not slaves, because I enumerated here. Interns will be respected and not treated like slaves. To summarize, interns are here to help assist and keep things in order. So free labor, not slavery. And a second point of contention is that Albert really tried hard to rush through the signing of these documents because he knew that the window of interest was a very small window of interest in recreating government, which resulted in a lot of rushed and unconvincing pieces of the document. I then made a list of amendments, basically laws or things enumerating the rights of the citizens. A right to a trial by jury, how an amendment is made, borrow money from the government, just your basic rules. But here comes the final part, the final keystone that ultimately led to the downfall of this proposed government before it can ever take off. And that is the 13 main laws. Now, these 13 laws, unlike the amendments, are not here to help enumerate the rights of the citizens, but more so to help control the activities of the people and subjects. Alright, rule number 1. When being outside, you can only play your 3DS for 10 minutes every hour. I can see why we didn't pass this. Final page here, in the back. We can see that the original 6 signatures needed to pass this constitution are almost there, except for the final one. And see, this is a very interesting story. We can see my name is here, our friend Abel signed, my brother Gian signed, Abel's brother Chris also signed, and so all we needed was one more
signature from our friend Maya.
So what led to this not being signed on that fateful day that we designated?
And the final point of contention, and the main reason why his documents did not get signed into law, is that someone didn't show up. With my signature, we only need one more. Where's Maya? Oh, he's not here today. Oh, okay, I guess we're not doing that today. What do you want to do instead?
Let's go play Smash.
Okay. By mid-November of 2012, Albuticus had not only failed to erect an army, but had now just failed to start his own government. He learned the hard way that perhaps trying to enforce your own ambition onto everyone else is not a good way to live. Or did he?
Yes, I did. Now subscribe, bro.